Good morning, I'm Kenneth Moton.
And I'm Kaylee Hartung. Here are the 5 things you need to know this Friday. Number 1, the mystery virus in China spreading amid new concerns here at home. A
student at Texas A&M and another student at Tennessee Tech University are being tested for the deadly new coronavirus.
Meanwhile, China is taking new steps to stop the virus from spreading, cutting off transportation for 33 million people in the region where the outbreak started. The U.S. State Department has also issued a travel warning for that area.
Number 2, the impeachment trial in Washington.
Democrats are getting ready to wrap up their opening statements today in the Senate impeachment trial, laying out how they believe President Trump abused his power by pressuring Ukraine to target Joe Biden.
They have about 8 hours left before the president's defense team gets its turn tomorrow.
On to number 3, the race for 2020. California Senator Kamala Harris is reportedly considering endorsing her former rival, Joe Biden.
Analysts say the move could pave the way for Harris to become Biden's running mate if he wins the nomination.
Sources tell the New York Times any endorsement would come after the Senate impeachment trial.
Number 4, the Harvey Weinstein sexual assault trial resumes today after emotional and graphic testimony from actress Annabella Sciorra.
The former Sopranos star told jurors that Weinstein attacked her inside her Manhattan apartment more than 25 years ago. Visibly shaking, she called the experience disgusting. ABC's Ariel Resha recounts the testimony.
The Hollywood titan forced his way into her Manhattan apartment. He started to unbutton his shirt. I realized what he wanted. It was pretty obvious. Tears streaming down her face, Sciorra demonstrating how he pinned her hands above her head as she fought back by punching him, kicking him. The actress claiming several weeks later she confronted Weinstein. He leaned into me and said, "This remains between you and I." His eyes were black. I thought he was going to hit me right there.
Sciorra is the first Weinstein accuser to testify. He's charged in 2 other incidents and claims both were consensual.
And finally, number 5, forget crying over spilled milk. How about all of this red wine?
Nearly 100,000 gallons of Cabernet came very close to spilling into a river in Northern California. Some of it leaked out of a tank at this vineyard, enough to cause foam to develop in a few ponds.
The wine seeped towards a creek that feeds a nearby river, but officials think they stopped the flow in time.
We feel that not that much wine got into the waterway. We are investigating the other tanks. We've moved wine out of that area as well to prevent any future leaks as well.
The Cabernet sells for about $27 a bottle, so it looks like millions of dollars were lost.
Now it's just a pretty penny there. Good morning, everyone. Let's get right to that mystery virus from China and several breaking developments overnight. The U.S. State Department has issued a new travel warning as we get word of a 3rd possible case here in the United States.
Yeah, a college student in Tennessee and another in Texas are now being tested after showing symptoms of this newly identified virus. At least one of them recently traveled to the region in China, where we just learned that 33 million people are now being quarantined. The lockdown area was expanded overnight.
Meanwhile, in Washington today, senators will hear from top health officials to get the latest on this growing concern. This morning, U.S. health officials are monitoring 3 new possible cases of the deadly coronavirus. A student at Texas A&M is self-quarantined in his home after returning from China, falling ill and going to the ER.
The patient had mild symptoms and was improving, so that's a very good sign.
An overnight word that a student at Tennessee Tech University has reported mild symptoms and is being tested for the virus. The first confirmed case in the U.S., a man in his 30s, is being treated near Seattle in isolation in a biocontainment room.
The immediate risk to the American public is low. However, this situation is evolving quickly, and I do expect more cases in the United States, as well as human-to-human transmission.
In just the last week, the virus, which triggers cold-like symptoms, has spread to 10 countries, sickening at least 830 people, leaving at least 25 dead, mostly in Wuhan, one of the largest transportation hubs in central China. Clinics in the city are now overwhelmed as patients are screened, and supermarket shelves are bare. A 24-hour live stream shows workers in Wuhan frantically building a brand new hospital with 1,000 new beds just for coronavirus patients. A travel ban remains in place in Wuhan, along with 9 other nearby cities, to try to contain the virus's spread, putting more than 33 million people under quarantine.
Quarantining a city of 11 million, as well as a couple of other cities in China, that's never been done before. This is a giant public health experiment, and we hope it's successful.
And now China is taking a new step, closing one of its most revered cultural sites and one of the busiest tourist attractions in the world, Beijing's Forbidden City will close Saturday until further notice.
This is a new disease, and we continue to learn about it. So far, the data suggests that the incubation period is around 2 weeks, but we'll really be learning more about this over the next couple weeks.
The U.S. State Department has now issued a do not travel warning for the Wuhan region of China. In addition to the Forbidden City, Shanghai Disneyland is also closing because of that outbreak.
And turning now to the other big story of the week, President Trump's impeachment trial. Democrats are getting ready to wrap up their opening statements. They're laying out how they believe President Trump abused his power. But one of the big struggles in the Senate has been staying awake. And now some senators are getting help paying attention. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has the latest from Capitol Hill, including what's ahead this weekend. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Kaylee, good morning to you. And some GOP senators are also growing more frustrated, calling the Democrats' arguments repetitive. And so the House managers are asking them to hang in there with just about 8 more hours to go. Democrats preparing to wrap up their case, arguing for removing President Trump from office.
This conduct is not America first. It is Donald Trump first.
The House managers accusing the president of abusing his power and obstructing Congress, alleging the president only started pushing Ukraine to launch investigations against Joe Biden when polls started showing the former VP as his biggest threat.
No president has ever used his office to compel a foreign nation to help him cheat in our elections.
And the actions of the president do not reach that level, no matter which school of thought you're on.
The president's lawyers maintaining abuse of power is not a crime and therefore not an impeachable offense. Democrats countering that argument by playing this old video of one of the president's top allies, Senator Lindsey Graham, from the Clinton impeachment trial.
Doesn't even have to be a crime. It's just when you start using your office and you're acting in a way that hurts people, you've committed a high crime.
All 100 senators required to sit through these marathon sessions, doing what they can to stay alert. Some using fidget spinners and stress balls, others even sketching. And lead House prosecutor Adam Schiff closing this day with this impassioned plea for the Senate.
If you find him guilty, you must find that he should be removed, because right matters. Because right matters. And the truth matters. Otherwise, we are lost.
And tomorrow, the president's lawyers take over, and sources tell us that they're actually concerned because their arguments could get buried on a Saturday. So it is possible they go for a shorter session tomorrow and leave the bulk of their arguments for next week. Kenneth and Kaylee.
And maybe everybody will have time to catch up on some sleep in that case. Elizabeth Herr, thank you so much.
And Senators Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Amy Klobuchar are on duty as jurors in the impeachment trial, but the other Democratic presidential candidates are on the campaign trail as the Iowa caucuses are just over a week away. Let's go to our team of reporters following the candidates in the field for the latest. Good morning, guys.
Hey guys, the First in the Nation primary may be a little over 2 weeks away, but it's definitely getting a little busy in New Hampshire this weekend. Former Vice President Joe Biden is back in the state, beginning a 2-day swing today. Mayor Pete Buttigieg is in town tonight for a town hall at the University of New Hampshire. And Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard continues her latest swing through the state. And while Senator Elizabeth Warren is sitting in the Senate trial in Washington, her campaign is trying to keep her message active in the state by bringing in several surrogates who will be campaigning on her behalf, beginning with actress Ashley Judd on Friday.
Hey guys, Mayor Pete Buttigieg wrapped up his Thursday here in South Carolina, holding 2 events across the state. The first was with Angela Rye, and the two had a very candid conversation about the struggles he's had here trying to win over black voters. Mayor Pete said that he's taken notice of how many white people are attending his events and the lack of diversity at them. He talked about his efforts to reach these communities and is really touting the support that he has from back home in South Bend, Indiana. And at his other event in Monk's Corner, he sat down with Charlemagne the God here in his hometown. They talked about Mayor Pete's proposals such as the Douglas Plan and his 21st Century Homestead Act and things that can really empower Black America and issues that are facing Black Americans here in the state, such as health care, wage gaps, and increasing the minimum wage, which would really benefit a lot of these communities. Now on Friday, Mayor Pete Buttigieg heads to New Hampshire for a town hall and a fundraiser in Boston. Back to you.
Our thanks to Justin Gomez and Chris Donato on the campaign trail there. And coming up next, a popular dating app rolls out a new safety feature. how it can save you from a date gone wrong.
And up next, Jessica Simpson reveals her very personal struggle after this. Welcome back. It is finally Friday and the weekend is almost here for some of us. I'll see you this weekend on GMA World News. She's working. Since we've been up all night keeping track of the news, here are some of the stories we've covered so far on World News Now and America This Morning.
The Trump administration is cracking down on what it calls birth tourism. Foreign women coming to the U.S. to give birth so their children can be American citizens. Under the new rules taking effect today, U.S. officials around the world can deny visa applications for any women they believe are coming to the U.S. for the sole purpose of giving birth. Pregnant visa applicants must prove they need to give birth in the U.S. for a medical or other compelling reason and that they can pay for it.
Breaking overnight, troubled free agent wide receiver Antonio Brown has surrendered to Florida police on multiple charges, including burglary.
Brown turned himself in Broward County last night, a day after a warrant was issued for his arrest. The charges stem from a Tuesday dispute at his home, where investigators say he refused to pay $4,000 to a moving van driver. The NFL is already investigating rape and other charges against Brown.
This is what greeted a pilot trying to land his plane at a Florida airport, a man pointing a laser directly at him. He says he was temporarily blinded. Other pilots, including one and a police helicopter, also reported seeing the laser. Police say the man even used his taser on them and gestured in their direction with a hammer when they finally arrested him.
Prosecutors in Florida are revealing their evidence against a man they say is the so-called pillowcase rapist who terrorized women in the 1980s. Robert Kohler was arrested after DNA analysis tied him to an alleged rape in Miami in 1983. Prosecutors say they found what they described as a dungeon underneath his home. They say their search also turned up several safes containing potential evidence from his alleged victims.
Within one of those safes were a number of items of women's jewelry, things that looked like trinkets, possibly souvenirs, if you will, of his prior offenses.
Authorities say they've linked Kohler to at least 25 crimes. Kohler's son was recently arrested, and prosecutors say his DNA was nearly a match to the pillowcase rapist, which helped lead to Kohler's arrest.
The billionaire founder of a drug company that has been sentenced to 5.5 years in prison for a bribery and kickback scheme that helped fuel the opioid crisis. John Kapoor paid off doctors to increase prescriptions of his company's addictive fentanyl spray, even for people who didn't need it. He's considered the first opioid maker found criminally liable for the crisis.
The former CEO of Wells Fargo has been banished from the banking industry, banned for life for his role in a fake account scandal. Regulators have also imposed huge fines on John Stumpf and other executives for pushing employees to open millions of bogus bank accounts to meet sales quotas. Stumpf was fined more than $17 million. It's the first time individuals have been punished for the bank's wrongdoing.
Tributes are pouring in for Jim Lehrer. He anchored the news on PBS for 3 decades and moderated a record 12 presidential debates. He was widely respected for his fairness and integrity. President Clinton said Jim Lehrer's life was a gift that strengthened our democracy. A titan in journalism, he was 85. We turn now to actress and singer Jessica Simpson revealing her struggle with addiction.
She says she hit rock bottom on Halloween when she started drinking early in the morning and was so drunk she couldn't dress her kids.
This morning, Jessica Simpson, long known as the bubbly blonde with the big personality, is opening up in a powerful new memoir entitled Open Book. The 39-year-old revealing for the first time that she was sexually abused as a child. And as her fame grew over the years, she says she started to self-medicate.
She talks about also how she started to numb her pain. There was a lot of emotional pain and anxiety that stemmed from that, and that she used alcohol and stimulants to numb herself.
The mother of 3 says she hit rock bottom on Halloween 2017, writing in the book, "It was 7:30 in the morning and I'd already had a drink." Later in the day, Simpson says her husband, Eric Johnson, asked her to get their kids dressed in their costumes. She confesses she went to her room instead and took an Ambien because she, quote, was terrified of letting them see me in that shape, writing, "I am ashamed to say that I don't know who got them into their costumes that night." Simpson says the next morning, "I slept in, afraid to see them, afraid I had failed them. I hid until they left, then drank." Now the star says she's been sober since November 2017, writing, "I was mad at that bottle, at how it allowed me to stay complacent and numb."
She said to me, "I want to be that girl on Newlyweds again, the one that, that people related to." So I really think she can do that, and that's really the message of her book. She wants to help and inspire others.
Simpson says she's hoping by talking about her life experience, she can help others who are struggling.
In sports, breaking news from the Australian Open. 15-year-old phenom Coco Gauff has upset defending champion Naomi Osaka. It was their first meeting since Osaka beat Gauff at the U.S. Open. This win arguably the biggest of Coco's young career. Meanwhile, a stunning loss overnight. Serena Williams has been knocked out of the tournament. The third-round loss is her earliest since 2006.
And we now have another warning.
Yes,
this is
we
for
do.
Tinder users. You're about to get access. I didn't mean to say you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you did see my Tinder pic yesterday,
we did see that.
And I saw yours.
Anyone who's on Tinder is about to get access to a new safety feature.
I'm not on Tinder, but the company says those features include a panic button that users can hit to alert police if something goes criminally wrong on their date. Again, criminally wrong. Another will allow daters to check in and tell friends where they are. The features will be part of a new section of Tinder's app called the Safety Center. It will be rolled out next Tuesday. This actually is a good thing. I know it's kind of like...
It's a great thing.
Anything that will help people stay safer on when you're meeting strangers.
Of course, of
essentially.
course. I mean, Uber has a similar feature.
Yeah, now you're putting
ride-sharing apps
pins
too.
into the Uber app.
And allowing also the ability for any of your friends that you would like to share your location with and so on and so forth to have that access.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It is.
Okay. Hey, the next story is called When a Speed Camera Works Out in Your Favor. A Colorado woman is hoping police can find the crooks who got a speeding ticket in her stolen Jeep.
Denise Herrera's husband was warming up the Jeep outside their home in November when someone jumped in and drove off. She got it back last month, but it was towed for having expired plates. Meantime, the crooks haven't been caught, but a valuable clue recently showed up in her mailbox.
I'm opening up my mail. I come across a ticket. I said, "Look," I'm like, "I found the thieves. They're in the Jeep. They're driving the Jeep."
Cheese.
Yeah.
On candid camera.
That speeding ticket showing the suspect on camera there, and yet no arrests have been made yet.
No arrests have been made. I guess we should point out, so we should show those people's faces on television. Police haven't said if those are the suspects. Obviously, you're innocent till proven guilty. There you go.
Check out what this drone captured. Wildlife on the move along the West Coast.
Ooh. Ah. That's some gray whales off the Newport Beach, California coast there. They're just a few of the estimated 22,000 whales migrating south to Baja, Mexico. The whales travel about 12,000 miles each year from the Arctic. They are on the move. They're heading to Mexico for something good, breeding.
I've got to go to Baja for a wedding in May. You think they'll still be there?
Yeah, you can see them breed. And have them calves.
Not what I want to see.
Oh, that's not what you want to see?
No.
Well, you have to get underwater probably to see it. Time for the mix, and it's a smelly, nasty, gross start to the mix.
And we are just going to shame this passenger.
We are. You've seen people do some nasty things on planes. Feet all out, up on the seats. They're messing with that little digital display. Look at this person right here. Yep. This unidentified traveler who I wish I knew the name of so I can shame him on national television, airing out that nasty, dirty sneaker using the vents.
That is just cruel and horrid.
Right. They should be kicked off, right?
As someone said, looking for a perfect way to spread your scent throughout the cabin? Look no further.
People, you gotta be more respectful.
Just keep your shoes on.
Keep them on. Don't put your feet up on that little armrest. Don't walk around with your shoes off.
Okay, we need to turn the page here and get to something with a...
Like a puppy.
Like a puppy. That's the only thing that could save this.
This puppy got his head stuck in a little tire there.
A tight spot.
But guess what? They got that puppy out.
Of course they did. Thank you, firefighters. Thank you.
It's Friday, y'all. So many people, I'm not even gonna say us, because I'm keeping my thing going right now. But so many people start with good intentions to reach that shiny new tomorrow with an ambitious list of New Year's resolutions.
But statistically, most of us
Not me.
gave up this week.
Nope, still going.
However, if you're looking for a little boost, Kenneth, you don't need to watch. Our own Will Gans talked to an expert.
New year, new you? Maybe not. Studies show that 80% of people who have made a New Year's resolution will have given up by the second week of February. And most people don't even make it that far. January 19th is called Quitter's Day because that's the dark day that most of us throw in the towel. Unless Vera Gibbons has something to say about it.
Everybody starts the new year with big hopes. This is the year I'm going to lose a lot of weight, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to stop drinking. Their resolutions are just too grandiose. They're way too difficult to achieve. They're not smart. They're not specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, or timely.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Run that by me again. I want to make sure my goals, my resolutions this new year are smart. What does it stand for again?
Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Smart.
So instead of trying something for a whole year, Vera says there's a magic number to consider when making a SMART resolution.
21 days.
21 days.
That is the timetable.
Why 21 days?
21 days is the amount of time that something actually turns into a habit. It becomes a lot easier after those first 21 days.
Another tip?
Make those goals visible. If your goal is to stop smoking, for example, maybe post stop smoking signs around your house.
And Vera says you don't have to, and you shouldn't, go it alone.
You can get the support most people can from their friends and family members, but there are also these great support groups online, Facebook, Instagram. So I would find like-minded individuals who you share common goals with and get together with them. And if you're having a bad day, chat with them or see how they get through it. I think it's really important that you have some sort of support system set up in order to maintain those goals.
And finally, let's be real.
So what if day 17 into our 21-day commitment, we go to a birthday party, we have the cheesecake, we drink the wine, we might slip up a little bit. Is that the time to throw in the towel?
Do not throw in the towel. Don't throw in the towel just because you've slipped a little bit. Just get right back on track. Don't beat yourself up. Pick up the pieces. Tomorrow's a new day.
Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
And that's our question of the day. Have you kept your New Year's resolutions like Kenneth?
I kept mine.
Tell us how successful you have been in the comments or tweet us at ABC News Live. And if you haven't been successful, like me, that's okay too.
It is okay. Maybe next year, 2021. Hey, coming up, we'll tell you what's to come on this Friday, January 24th.
Plus, what President Trump is doing today that's a first for a sitting president. After this.
Welcome back. Here's what to watch out for today. Before senators sit for the impeachment trial, they will receive a briefing with top administration officials on the coronavirus outbreak from the CDC, the State Department, and others. Then House impeachment managers are set to complete their case against President Trump after dissecting the abuse of power charge for 9.5 hours yesterday. They will concentrate on the second article of impeachment, obstruction of Congress, in their remaining time of just under 8 hours.
Meanwhile, President Trump is scheduled to speak at the March for Life, the annual anti-abortion rally on the National Mall. Trump's address will be the first at the event by a sitting president.
Teen activist Greta Thunberg takes part in a climate strike protest in Davos, Switzerland, together with other activists on the final day of the World Economic Forum.
Back here at home, rapper Yo Gotti, Team Rock, are hosting a rally at the Mississippi State Capitol to protest what organizers call inhumane conditions at the state's prisons. Governor Tate Reeves announced several changes to the prison system yesterday. And Boeing's new 777X aircraft's first test flight is scheduled to take place after bad weather delayed its takeoff scheduled for Thursday. Boeing says the plane is on track to be delivered in 2021, and it's designed to hold an average of 406 people.
That is a small city, right? Small town.
Can we just ask that everyone keep their shoes on?
Oh, yeah, because
it's really our only request.
Please, please. Well, that is it for us. It's been great to have Kaylee Hartung here. Will you come back, please?
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
We can't wait to have you back. Have a great weekend and have fun working this weekend.
Oh, thanks. Have enough fun for the both of us.
I will. All right, have a good one. We'll see you.